please, I need you to arrest me before I hurt someone else." The words sliced through the thunder of 12 Harley engines like a scream in a library. Every member of the Iron Wolves motorcycle club turned to see an 8-year-old boy standing in their garage doorway at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon, clutching a Batman backpack and trembling. Bull, 6'5" of tattooed muscle and a face that had seen too many fights, rose slowly from his seat. In 20 years leading the Iron Wolves, he'd seen dealers, abusers, and desperate people, but never this, never a child prosecuting himself. "Kid, you lost?" "No, sir." The boy's voice was steady, rehearsed. "I found you on purpose. I've been planning this for 2 weeks. I'm a criminal and I'm turning myself in." The clubhouse went dead silent. Doc, the VP with medical training and a past nobody talked about, stepped forward. "Son, what's your name?" Jamal Peterson." He opened his backpack with shaking hands and pulled out a composition notebook covered in superhero stickers. "I've documented everything, all 53 crimes. I have dates, times, descriptions, and I'm ready to accept my punishment." Bull exchanged looks with his brothers. The Iron Wolves had a code: protect those who couldn't protect themselves. But this was new territory. He knelt down, leather vest creaking. "Jamal, show me that notebook." The boy handed it over like he was passing evidence to a judge. His small hands trembled, but his jaw was set with a determination that didn't belong on a face that young. Bull opened to the first page. His eyes scanned the careful, neat handwriting. September 18th, 2024. Crime number 1. Gave Mrs. Patterson my lunch money. Details: she forgot her wallet. I had $5. I gave it to her. Violation: theft from my family, manipulation by making her think I'm good. Punishment deserved: minimum 3 days confinement. Bull's eyebrows furrowed. He flipped to the next entry. September 20th, 2024. Crime number 2. Helped Mr. Williams carry groceries. Details: he had 4 bags. I carried 2 to his apartment. Violation: trespassing, unwanted physical contact with his property. Punishment deserved: loss of meals, minimum 2 days. The third entry made Bull's blood run cold. September 22nd, 2024. Crime number 3. Smiled at Dad during breakfast. Details: he made pancakes. I smiled and said, "Thank you." Violation: deception, manipulation, pretending to be grateful when I'm poison inside. Punishment deserved: intensive correction therapy. Bull looked up slowly. "Jamal, who taught you to write like this?" "Nobody had to teach me." The boy's voice was matter-of-fact, like he was explaining gravity. "When you're rotten on the inside, everything you do on the outside becomes rotten too. It contaminates people. That's just science." Chains, the enforcer with teardrops tattooed under his eyes, moved closer. His voice was softer than usual. "Kid, when did you start thinking like this?" Jamal looked at his shoes. 8 months ago, when Mom married Terry." The name dropped like a stone into still water. "Terry said he could see what nobody else could see, that Mom and my teachers were fooled, but he knew the truth." Jamal's voice got smaller. "He said I was defective, that everything good I tried to do was actually bad because it came from a bad source, like poison in a pretty bottle." Bull's knuckles went white around the notebook. That's when the bikers knew they had to act. What happened when you did these things, these crimes? Jamal finally looked up. His eyes were ancient. "The lunch money one? Terry locked me in the basement for 31 hours. He said thieves belong in the dark where they can't contaminate others." Doc's jaw clenched. "What else?" "When I helped Mr. Williams," Jamal recited it like a grocery list. "Terry took away food for 3 days, said I needed to understand that my actions have weight, that I make people's lives worse by touching them." "And the smile?" Bull asked, though he already didn't want to hear it. "Cold shower, 1 hour and 17 minutes, he timed it." Jamal pulled out his phone. The screen was cracked, the case held together with duct tape. "He took pictures so I could see what a liar looks like, so I could see the monster pretending to be a boy." He unlocked it with shaking fingers. The photo showed him standing in a shower, lips blue, eyes hollow. The timestamp read 11:43 p.m. Snake, A younger biker with kind eyes knelt beside Jamal. The Iron Wolves might look dangerous, but they knew how to be gentle when it mattered. "How did you get here, little man? We're 3 miles from town. I saw you ride past Jefferson Elementary sometimes. Big group, all wearing the same vests with the wolf patch." He pulled out a hand-drawn map, remarkably detailed for an 8-year-old. Each street carefully labeled, the clubhouse marked with a star. "I heard Mr. Lewis at the hardware store say the Iron Wolves don't let people hurt kids, that you work outside the system when the system won't protect people." Bull felt something shift in his chest. This child had tracked them, studied their patterns, chosen them strategically. 8 years old and already understanding that sometimes the law fails and you need people who operate in the cracks. "I counted how many of you there were," Jamal continued. 12 bikes, always together, never alone. Mr. Lewis said that's because you're a family, that you protect each other. I thought maybe you'd protect me too, even though I'm defective." "You're not defective," Snake said immediately. "Yes, I am. Terry proved it with science, with charts, with behavioral analysis." Jamal's voice was so certain it hurt to hear. "But I'm okay with being defective. I just don't want Sophie to be." "Why today?" Bull asked. "Why now?" Jamal's composure cracked for the first time. "Because yesterday I committed my worst crime yet. There's this girl at school, Maya. She has autism and sits alone at lunch because the other kids are mean to her." His voice got thick with tears. "And yesterday I sat with her. I knew I shouldn't. I knew it would contaminate her. But she looked so sad, and I couldn't help it." The tears came faster now. "I shared my sandwich with her. We talked about dinosaurs. She knows everything about them. And she smiled at me. She said I was her first friend. And today she waited for me at lunch, and I realized what I'd done. She thinks I'm safe. She thinks I'm good. But I'm not. I'm poison, and now she's infected, and it's my fault." The garage was silent, except for the sound of a child sobbing over an act of kindness. Bull handed the notebook to Doc, who began reading through the entries. His face got darker with each page. Meanwhile, Snake had taken Jamal's phone, scrolling through months of documented abuse. Photos, videos, audio recordings. The kid had built an airtight case against his abuser without even knowing it. Bull sat down on a crate, bringing himself to eye level with Jamal. "Where's Terry right now?" The color drained from Jamal's face. "Home, with Sophie." "Who's Sophie?" "My little sister. She's 5. Jamal grabbed Bull's vest with both hands, panic flooding his features. Oh no, I didn't think—" "Sophie doesn't know yet. She doesn't know she's bad. She still does nice things. She still hugs people and draws pictures and says, 'I love you,' and she doesn't understand that she's contaminating them." "Has Terry hurt Sophie?" "He's starting to teach her. He locks her in the closet for shorter times, only 2 or 3 hours, and he only takes away 1 meal, not 3, because she's little." Jamal's breathing was getting faster, edging toward hyperventilation. But this morning she drew him a picture, a family picture with all of us holding hands, hearts all around it. She used her favorite crayons, the glitter ones Mom got her for her birthday. His voice cracked, and she gave it to him at breakfast, ran up and hugged his leg and said, "I love you, Daddy Terry. I made this just for you." And he smiled, but it was the wrong smile. The smile that means someone needs intensive correction. The smile he gave me before the first basement lesson. "What time does your mom get home?" "Midnight. She works night shift at the hospital, 12-hour shifts, 4 days a week. She picks up extra shifts when she can because money's tight." Jamal wiped his nose with his sleeve. "She doesn't know. Terry's really careful. He does corrections when she's gone. Makes us promise it's our special secret, that Mom's too tired from work to understand our lessons." Bull looked at his watch. 4:15 p.m., 7 hours and 45 minutes. Too long, way too long. He stood up. Every biker in that garage was already standing, already reading his mind. The Iron Wolves don't arrest kids. They protect them. "Doc Chains, you stay with Jamal. Everyone else gear up." Jamal jumped up. "Where are you going?" "To get your sister." "No!" Jamal grabbed Bull's arm with surprising strength. "You can't. If you go there, Terry will know I told. He'll know I betrayed the family. He said if I ever told anyone about our correction therapy, he'd have to do emergency intervention on Sophie. He showed me articles about kids who needed intensive therapy. Kids who had to be sent away to special hospitals where they fixed defective children. He said Sophie would have to go there if I ever told. Bull knelt down one more time. Jamal, listen to me very carefully. Nothing you wrote in that notebook is a crime. Terry lied to you about everything. But the science? There is no science. There's just a little boy who's kind and good, and a monster who tortured him into believing kindness is evil. But what if you're wrong? Jamal's voice broke. What if Terry's right and I really am defective? Snake stepped forward. Kid, you want to know how I know you're not defective? Because defective people don't worry about contaminating others. They don't cry about hurting people. They don't walk 3 miles alone to protect their sister. His voice was firm but kind. Bad people don't care, Jamal. And you care so much it's eating you alive. That's not defectiveness, that's called having a heart. Doc looked up from the phone, his face pale. Bull, you need to see these videos. Later, we need to move. No. Doc's voice was sharp. Now, there's one from this morning. He held up the phone. On screen, Terry's face filled the frame. He was in what looked like Sophie's room. Pink walls, stuffed animals. Day 1 of Sophie's intensive intervention. Terry's voice was calm, clinical. Subject displayed manipulative affection this morning via artwork. Classic attention-seeking behavior masked as love. Beginning phase 1, correction to prevent subject from developing same defective patterns as her brother. The camera panned to show Sophie standing in the corner of her room, still in her pajamas. The timestamp read 7:47 a.m. Initial corner time set for 2 hours to establish baseline will increase as needed based on compliance. Subject has already displayed resistance by crying. This confirms the necessity of early intervention. Bull's voice was deadly quiet. How many of these are there? Dozens. He's been documenting everything, building files on both kids. Doc's hands were shaking. This is systematic, professional. He's done this before. Bull stood. Jamal, I need that phone. All of it. Jamal hesitated, then nodded. Take it. Take everything. Just save Sophie. Bull pocketed Jamal's phone. I'm taking this as evidence. Doc, chains. Guard him with your lives. Nobody gets in this clubhouse except us or his mother. Yes, sir. Bull touched the boy's shoulder. You did the right thing coming here. The Iron Wolves protect kids, always have, always will. You saved yourself and your sister. Remember that. But what if? No what ifs. We're going to get Sophie, we're going to stop Terry, and you're both going to be safe. That's a promise from the Iron Wolves, and we don't break promises. Hit that subscribe button because what happened next will restore your faith in justice. Let me know where you're watching from. 8 Harleys rolled through late afternoon traffic like thunder on wheels. Bull led the pack, Jamal's phone in his vest pocket, 8 months of systematic torture compressed into digital evidence. The Iron Wolves had handled dangerous situations before, but never one that made their blood boil quite like this. They parked 2 streets over, engines rumbling to silence. Bull and Snake approached on foot. The others spread out, covering exits, watching for Terry's car, ready to move if things went sideways. The house looked perfect. Neat lawn, American flag on the porch, white picket fence, flower beds with late-season mums, from outside the American dream. But the Iron Wolves knew that monsters don't live in haunted houses. They live in places that look exactly like this. Bull knocked, firm, authoritative, the knock of someone who expects to be answered. Terry opened the door within seconds, early 30s, clean-cut, handsome in a youth pastor kind of way. His smile was practiced, perfect. Can I help you? Bull saw it immediately, the micro-assessment behind the smile. Terry was scanning him, cataloging details, calculating threat level. We're here about Sophie Peterson. The smile didn't waver, but Terry's posture shifted subtly. I'm sorry, who are you? Bull pulled out the phone, hit play. Terry's voice filled the space between them. Day 1 of Sophie's intensive intervention. The mask cracked, just for a second. Pure rage flashing in his eyes before snapping back into place. Where did you? That's private property. You have no right. Your stepson gave it to us. Every video, every photo, every recording. Terry lunged for the phone. Snake blocked him, one hand on Terry's chest. A small voice from inside the house, faint but clear. Daddy Terry, can I come out now? I've been very still like you said. I haven't moved at all. Bull's voice dropped to a register that made grown men nervous. How long has she been standing there? That's none of your... But my legs hurt and I need to use the bathroom. Snake was already dialing. 911. We need police and CPS at 4782 Maple Street. We have evidence of active child abuse in progress. Terry tried to slam the door. Bull's boot stopped it. Sophie! Terry screamed into the house. Remember what I taught you about strangers? Bull shoved past him. The Iron Wolves didn't wait for permission when a child was in danger. He found Sophie in the living room corner, 5 years old, trembling, a dark stain down her legs. In the trash can beside her, a crumpled drawing of a family holding hands, hearts drawn in glitter crayon. Hey, sweetheart, Bull said gently, his voice completely different from moments ago. You're safe now. You can move. Am I allowed? Her voice was tiny, broken. Yes, baby. You're allowed. Sophie turned slowly, legs shaking from standing so long. Her face was tear-streaked, eyes swollen from hours of crying. She looked at Bull, this massive biker with tattoos and leather, and instead of being scared, she reached for him. Are you Jamal's friends? The ones with the motorcycles? Bull's chest tightened. Yeah, sweetheart, we're Jamal's friends. He told me about you. He said if anything bad ever happened, the Iron Wolves would help. He said you're like superheroes, but with motorcycles instead of capes. Officer Martinez arrived first, took one look at the scene, at the video evidence, at the timestamp showing Sophie had been standing there for nearly 9 hours. Read him his rights, she told her partner. For what? Terry's voice was shrill now, the mask completely shattered. For disciplining my stepdaughter? For trying to fix her before she ends up defective like her brother? We are not defective, Sophie said suddenly, finding her voice. Jamal's the best brother in the whole world. He reads me stories and shares his cookies and teaches me about stars. You're the one who's mean. You're the one who's bad. Terry's face contorted. You see? Already contaminated. Already defending defectiveness. This is what happens when correction is delayed. Shut up. Officer Martinez's voice could have frozen fire. You're done talking. As they cuffed Terry, he kept ranting. They need to be fixed. I have documentation, behavioral charts. I'm trying to help them. Bull knelt beside Sophie as they led Terry away. Your brother sent us to get you. He's safe. He's waiting for you. Jamal saved me? He did. He was very brave. But Daddy Terry said Jamal was bad, that he makes people sick. Daddy Terry lied about everything. Jamal isn't bad. Neither are you. You're both perfect exactly as you are. The ride to the clubhouse was surreal. Sophie sat in front of Bull on his Harley, wearing a helmet 3 sizes too big, asking questions the whole way. She wasn't scared of the bikes or the bikers. Jamal had told her stories, made them heroes in her mind. Do you really protect kids? Always. Even kids who are different. Especially kids who are different. Jamal says he's different. He says that's why the other kids are mean sometimes. But I think different is good, like how butterflies are all different colors, but they're all beautiful. Bull's voice was thick. That's exactly right, sweetheart. When they pulled up to the clubhouse, Jamal was at the door. He'd been pacing, Doc said later, wearing a groove in the concrete, convinced something had gone wrong, convinced Terry had hurt Sophie because Jamal had told. The second Sophie climbed off the bike, they ran to each other. Sophie! Jamal! They collided in the middle of the garage, held on like they'd never let go. I'm sorry, Jamal sobbed into her hair. I left you there. I should have taken you with me. I should have... You saved me, Sophie said with 5-year-old certainty. You sent the Iron Wolves, just like in your stories. They came on their big motorcycles and saved me just like you said they would. Jamal looked up at Bull, confusion and desperate hope warring on his face. "I'm not a hero, I'm defective, You're a hero," Bull said firmly. "Say it." But Terry said, "Terry's a liar. You're a hero. Say it." Jamal's voice was barely a whisper. "I'm a hero?" "Damn right you are. You saved your sister. You protected your friend Maya. You chose kindness even when someone punished you for it. That's what heroes do." Sophie grabbed her brother's face with both small hands. "Jamal, listen. Remember what Mom says? How love makes people stronger. You loved me enough to get help. That's the strongest thing in the whole world." The clubhouse door burst open. Their mother ran in, still in scrubs. She'd left work mid-shift, the second officer Martinez called. My babies, I'm here, you're safe." "Mom!" they both cried, running to her. She dropped to her knees and pulled them close. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have seen it. I should have known." "He was really good at pretending," Jamal said, always trying to fix things to make others feel better, even when he was hurting. "He had charts and everything. He made it look like science." "No more pretending," she said fiercely. "No more secrets, no more correction. Just love. So much love." After she left to deal with CPS and police statements, Jamal sat with Bull on a workbench. The notebook lay between them. "I still feel broken," Jamal admitted quietly. Bull picked up the notebook, opened to the first page, pulled out a pen. He crossed out crime number 1 and wrote above it in bold letters, "Good deed number 1." Then he did the same for the next entry, and the next, working through all 53 with methodical care. Each crossed-out crime became proof of kindness, evidence of a good heart that refused to turn cruel even under torture. When he finished, he handed it back. "This isn't a confession, Jamal. It's proof that you're exactly who you're supposed to be. A kid with a big heart who helps others." Jamal traced the crossed-out words with his finger. "Maya won't really get contaminated by being my friend." "No, kid. If anything, she's lucky to have a friend like you." "What if Terry's voice stays in my head? What if I can't stop believing I'm defective?" "Then we work on it. The Iron Wolves don't just do one rescue and disappear. We stick around. We've got a therapist who works with kids, Dr. Kim. She's helped a lot of kids whose heads got messed with by adults who should have protected them. You'll see her. Work through this properly." "For how long?" "As long as it takes. Healing isn't quick, but you won't do it alone." Jamal looked at the notebook, at 53 acts of kindness. Then he pulled out a pen. His hand shook slightly as he added a new entry at the bottom, October 15th, 2024. Good deed. 54 asked for help. Details. Walked 3 miles alone. Found the Iron Wolves. Saved Sophie. Saved myself. Result. We're both safe now. Terry's in jail. I have friends who see me clearly. How it made me feel, scared, but also brave, like maybe I'm not defective after all. He closed the notebook, held it against his chest. "Bull?" "Yeah, kid? Tomorrow at lunch, I'm going to sit with Maya again. And this time, when Terry's voice tries to tell me I'm contaminating her, I'm going to remember that the Iron Wolves think I'm a hero. Is that okay?" Bull's voice was rough. "That's more than okay. That's perfect." Outside, Sophie's laughter echoed through the clubhouse as Chains taught her to play Go Fish with a deck of cards that had definitely seen better days. Normal kid sounds, safe sounds, the sounds of childhood being reclaimed. Doc stepped outside where Bull leaned against the wall, a small flame sparking in his hands. The ember's glow lit his face in the dark. "One heavy thing," Doc said quietly. "Yeah. That kid's got a long road ahead. He'll make it. He's got the heart for it." Bull exhaled slowly, a faint haze curling upward. "Besides, the Iron Wolves protect kids. That's what we do. Who we are. Think he'll really be okay?" Bull thought about Jamal inside, adding a 54th good deed to his notebook. About Sophie laughing over card games, about 2 kids who'd walked through hell but still chose kindness. "Yeah, they both will. Know how I know?" "How?" "Because that kid was so convinced he was poison that he tried to turn himself in to protect others from his kindness. That's not defectiveness, Doc. That's the kind of heart that changes the world. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the sun set over the warehouse district. Inside, Jamal was teaching Sophie a card trick Chains had shown him. Their laughter mixed together, healing sounds in a place more used to engine roars. Two kids learning that kindness wasn't contamination, that different wasn't defective, that asking for help wasn't weakness, and that sometimes when the system fails, you can count on 12 bikers with a code to roll up and remind you what protection really looks like. Turns out all Jamal ever needed was someone to protect him. If this story moved you, please subscribe, because every child deserves to know that kindness is never a crime, and asking for help is the bravest thing you can do.